Hello and welcome to the next segment reading of the Asatru Edda. I am Asgard Skegg, and in today's chapter we're going to be speaking about specifically one of the Disir goddesses and one of the more well-known ones, and her name is Sif. And most popularly, she is known as being the wife of Thor. The Sif is a daughter of Isikdigur, also called Kiar, and is Groa's sister. She would later become the wife of Egil, and they would have the son Ullr. Then she would marry Thor. Before any of this, Loki Laufeyarson cut off all of Sif's hair for love of mischief. At the time, it was thought to be a severe disgrace for a woman to have all of her hair cut off. When Thor learned of this, he grabbed hold of Loki and would have broken every bone in his body had Loki not sworn to find a way to get the Dokalfar to make hair from gold for Sif, which would grow like any other hair. Then Loki went to those Dvergar called the sons of Avaldi, and they made the hair. Skithblathnir and Odin's spear Gungnir. Then Loki wagered his head with the Dvergar called Brokr Dane on whether his brother Sindri Itri would succeed in making three precious things as good as they were. And when they got to the workshop, Sindri put a pig's hide in the forge and told Brokr to work the bellows and not to stop until he took out of the forge what he had put in. But as soon as Sindri left the smithy and the other began pumping air, a fly landed on Brokr's hand and bit him. Brokr continued nonetheless to work the bellows as before and kept on until the smith pulled the work from the forge. It was a boar with bristles of gold. Next, Sindri put gold in the forge. He asked the other to work the bellows and not stop pumping until he returned. Then he left. The fly returned and settled on Brokr's neck, and this time it bit twice as hard. Still, Brokr continued to pump until the smith took from the forge a gold ring, the one called Drapnir. Then the smith placed iron in the forge, telling the other to pump air with the bellows. He said that his work would be ruined if the bellows failed. This time, the fly landed between Brokr's eyes, biting his eyelids. Finally, with blood flowing into his eyes, he was unable to see. So, as quickly as he could, he took his hand from the bellows on the downstroke and swatted the fly away. At that moment, the smith returned and said that everything in the forge had barely escaped ruin. At that moment, the smith returned and said that everything in the forge had barely escaped ruin. Then he took a hammer from the forge, and entrusting all of the treasures to his brother Brokr, he asked him to go to Asgard to settle the wager. Then Brokr and Loki arrived and displayed their treasures. The Aesir took their places on the thrones of Weird. Odin, Thor, and Freyr were to be the judges, thus settling the matter. Loki gave to Odin the spear Gungnir, to Thor the hair of Sith, and to Freyr Skithbladnir. He then described the characteristics of each of the treasures. The spear Gungnir had runar risted on the point. It always pierces cleanly through, never stopping during the thrust. The hair would grow fast to the skin as soon as it came on Sif's head, and Skithbladnir would receive a fair wind whenever its sail is raised, no matter where it is going. The sons of Ivaldi in days of yore created Skithbrathnir, best of ships, for shining Freyr, Njordr's noble son. Powerful magic is called upon before everything like it is crafted. That ship is so large that it can accommodate all of the Aesir along with their weapons and their war gear. The ship is made of so many different pieces and with so much cunning that when it is not being used to travel on the sea, it can be folded up like a piece of cloth and placed in the pouch. It was built with the finest craftsmanship, but Naglfar, the largest ship, is owned by Loki Musper. Broker then brought out his treasures. He gave the ring to Odin, saying that every ninth night 8 rings of equal weight would drip from it. To Freyr he gave the boar, remarking that night or day it could race across the sky and over the sea better than any other mount. Furthermore, night would never be so murky, nor the worlds of darkness so shadowy that the boar could not provide light wherever it went, so bright is the shining of its bristles. He is Hildisvini, also called Gulenbursti and Slithgrugtani, who was made by the two skillful Devargar Danbroker and Nabi Sindri. Then Broker gave the hammer to Thor and said that with it Thor would be able to strike whatever came before him with as mighty a blow as he wished, because the hammer would never break. But if he decided to throw the hammer, it would never miss its mark, nor could it ever be thrown so far that it would not find its way back to his hand, if he liked it. It is so small that it could be kept inside his shirt. There is, however, one defect: the handle was rather short. Thank you for sitting in on this next segment reading of the Asatru Edda about Sif and the great gifts of the gods. Please support the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and subscribe to all of our new content. Thank you again for listening in. We'll see you on the next segment.